whiteheads come for me. They just come and they just... Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello if you're new here. Thank you so much for subscribing. Today's video was literally voted by you guys. I have been creating some community posts to help me kind of navigate what kind of videos you guys want to see, and the skin update was highly voted, so that is the one that I'm uploading this week. So I'm coming to you barefaced, so we will get into some close-ups and footage and images and everything throughout the video. If you want to get involved in the community posts, then obviously they'll be up every couple of days during the week, where I just ask you about content that you might want to see, video suggestions, whatever you have. Please engage with those because it helps me to create content for you guys. And of course, if you enjoy skincare videos and you haven't subscribed, then don't forget to do that down below. I've been using Dermatica now for 3 months, probably, yeah, over 3 months now, just by a little bit. And I wanted to share my actual experience, how it's been. If you haven't seen my previous updates, where I kind of came off tretinoin and started Dermatica, then I will leave a card above and I'll also link it down below so you guys can watch that if you want some more detail. But I'll kind of add bits and bobs throughout this video as well. So essentially, it has been 3 months since I have been using Dermatica, and in that time I have had 2 tubes. So these are the tubes, and I mentioned that my subscription in my other video is 55 days, I think. So this comes every 55 days, and it is a subscription service, so you are paying for a tube to come every however often you want, up to 55 I think. So I've got the most because there's a lot in here, surprisingly. Now, with my previous use, my first tube, I was using it every other night as directed by the dermatology team. So I did that, and I will just kind of skim over the results that I were finding. So basically I was dealing with a lot of these kind of whiteheads. I really put it down to humidity and clogged pores, dealing with sweat and humid nights, waking up with a lot of explosions. Also, I thought maybe it's the tretinoin cream. The cream formulation might have been too thick, especially for the summer. I might have been applying too much. There was just lots of reasons, but generally I knew, like, I kind of just want to ease off tretinoin and, you know, go for something that's going to really help with the whiteheads at this point, which I really needed. I used my first tube every other night, like I mentioned, and I also buffered. So I was using a cleanser, then I was moisturising, and then I would apply my treatment. So I was rarely using the treatment on, like, you know, non-moisturised skin. But overall, I found that my skin wasn't getting very dry, but I didn't want to jinx it. It was a bit dry, but nothing compared to tretinoin, and no severe dryness. I also saw a reduction in the whiteheads. They went away completely. And I did see some results with my hyperpigmentation. Let's not forget that before I started Dermatica, this is how my skin was looking. It was very red, it was very irritated, it was very dry, and the skin barrier was compromised, and I just needed a professional dermatological help, basically. So I reached out to Dermatica, and I just wanted to get a treatment that was really gonna help with the condition of my skin. Obviously I sent in the images and they gave me the prescription, which is still the same. So it's Adapalene 0.1%, Niacinamide at 4%, Clindamycin at 1%, all in a lotion, and that has been working for me so far. On top of that, let's not forget that I went through a huge purge on tretinoin. That purge was probably the most acne and hyperpigmentation I've had all at one time, and it was a lot, so it left me with a lot of marks. Hyperpigmentation takes a long time to go away anyway. The good thing is that it does fade on its own, but with treatment it still takes time. It's not necessarily an overnight thing, you know. It's not you use a cream and days later your skin is perfect. This is a long journey, and that's why it's called skincare journey and skin progress. My skin has come a long way since quitting tretinoin, since going through the purge, and I really wanted to make some comparisons here of how my skin was at the end of sort of the first month to now. On Dermatica, it allows you to put the sort of before and after pictures as you go along, and it also helps the dermatology team to see your progress. So I've been doing that, and you can really see the difference here in how much my skin improved from May to about July, August. I'll put the actual date here because I'm not sure what they are, but there was so much progress that you can see there is less inflammation, the hyperpigmentation is slowly diminishing. And of course, I want to show you how my skin is doing now. So obviously I have no makeup on or anything. And the thing about my acne is that it is predominantly on my cheeks, which can sometimes work in my favour because when people look at me straight on, you don't really see the cheeks unless it's like a side profile. So a lot of the time straight on, my skin looks very, very good, a lot better than it actually is, which is fine, you know, that is a benefit for me. But obviously when I was dealing with it on my chin, I felt like that was so central, and it's very close to the lips, which people do look at when they're talking to you and vice versa. So I just felt a bit more self-conscious about it. I can say that my chin has been completely unproblematic since starting Dermatica, since using the Adapalene. I really think it might be the Clindamycin, which is an antibiotic. I think that has really helped fight the bacteria that was causing those whiteheads, which is what also makes me apprehensive, because clindamycin is not something you can stay on for a long time because your skin does become resistant to it. So I think after 3 months, they're probably going to change my prescription, which is obviously needed because there's no point in carrying on with it if your skin's going to become resistant to it and it no longer be effective. So I am apprehensive because I don't want those whiteheads back. My chin has been so good to me. I don't know what they're going to put me on next, but I can really say that my acne control has been getting better and better and better. Obviously, I mentioned in my previous video, my goal is not to be acne free, never get a breakout. That's really unrealistic. I still have my periods, my time of the month, my hormones can get all over the place. When I'm stressed, I know that I break out. When it's my time of the month, I'm prepared to break out. It's about dealing with those things and manage those things rather than having a really unrealistic expectation that these treatments will enable me to never have acne again. As amazing as that would be, that's not reality for me. With my previous tube of Dermatica, my first couple of months, I really wanted to ease into it. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't use any spin brushes. I didn't use any sort of harsh products, anything. I really wanted to simplify it. So I was using the salicylic acid, which I still occasionally use, but as the temperatures have started to cool here, I've not been as greasy and oily waking up, you know. I can be super, like honestly, I can be so oily when I wake up. It's kind of like gross. But that's the reality, and that's when I really feel like the need to cleanse. But some days I wake up and my skin is just fine, it's just glowing. So I will just wash it with water. I know that alone is kind of controversial, but generally I didn't want to overstrip my skin, and I'm still in that state. If my skin feels greasy and horrible, then I'll wash it. If it feels fine, then I'll just wash it with water. Knowing that I'm not stripping any natural oils from my skin unnecessarily is kind of like become a priority for me. So I was using the ordinary hyaluronic acid and niacinamide, which I have continued to use. I've been able to implement new products back into my skin care routine, knowing that my skin is doing all right. So basically my skin is a bit dry, but I am on a retinoid, so that is a side effect. We're only now starting to go into autumn and winter, so the dryness will probably change and become possibly more problematic in the future. And I wanted to show you some of the products that I've been now incorporating, knowing that my skincare has been stable for the past 3 months. I've slowly started to incorporate these products. So before I was using aloe vera gel, which works fine. I love aloe vera gel. It's moisturizing, it's soothing, it can really quench the thirst of your skin. It's beautiful. However, I wanted to up my moisturization and get some with extra sort of skincare nourishing ingredients. So this is the CeraVe facial moisturizing lotion. This is for normal to dry skin, and it says with 3 essential ceramides, niacinamide and hyaluronic acid. Fragrance free, of course. Such a light lotion. It's so hydrating. I'm so glad I bought this. Definitely will repurchase it. Definitely recommend it if you're using a retinoid or just in general. It's really, really nice. And this is the PM one simply because it doesn't have any SPF in it. They have an SPF version. So that would be for the daytime, but this is so good, so good. I've been using that. And I've also been using Neutrogena Hydro Boost, which I've had before, really like it. I simply bought it because it was on offer. So one of the newer products that I've started to implement that should really have an effect on my skincare results is by The Ordinary. Again, I love The Ordinary, I do. So this is Alpha Arbutin, and this is at 2% plus hyaluronic acid. Put the cute little stickers to differentiate them because otherwise all these bottles look the same. So this I was really wanting to get. I saw Dr. Vanita Rattan here on YouTube. She really specialises on skin of colour, and when she explained what Alpha Arbutin does, I was like, I need that. I need that now. So now that my skin is kind of in a good place and my skincare routine is pretty secure and I'm not having like, you know, explosive breakouts or just sudden breakouts or lots of acne. It's really controlled at the moment. I thought this is a good time to implement that. Obviously, when we get a spot, our skin pigments, especially if you are a person of colour, like me. Okay, little story time. When me and my boyfriend were playing badminton, I lost the shuttlecock. I hit it up above my shed. So I went to go get it. And as I was coming down, I grazed my thigh against the brick wall. So it was fully grazed and bruised and, you know, injured. And that, let me tell you, is now hyperpigmented. That is now hyperpigmented and technically is a scar. Like, just from a graze, whereas other people's skin will heal so much easier. But what I'm saying is we pigment a lot easier, and Dr. Vanita Rattan has been amazing. My friend actually spoke about her channel and I was like, oh, that sounds cool, let me check it out. So much information, so interesting. So I will link her channel down below if you haven't come across her as well. Anyway, she explained it that our skin hyperpigments very easily, quickly, you know, one bite, one burn, and we will be left with a mark and a scar. So she explained that alpha arbutin has the power to really inhibit the melanocytes, she calls them, from the things that create melanin, from actually creating that melanin. So if, imagine, you get a spot, so you get a spot, you get a mark, right? But imagine if you get a spot and you stop it from hyperpigmenting. You're not going to get that mark. Hello, I want that. Hello, I need that. The thing that she said about this, which has stuck with me, is that it is a slow progress. You're not going to use it and just suddenly not have any hyperpigmentation. It's about slowly inhibiting that natural reaction, I guess. I'm calling it a natural reaction. I don't know if it is, but so I've started using this. However, I've only been using it now for literally like this is literally brand new. I've only been using it for like less than a week, especially because I've been away on holiday. But speaking of holiday, the reason I mention that is because the holiday has been like the most outings I've had consecutively, and especially away. But anyway, since ease of lockdown, we are required by law now to wear face mask coverings. I was getting a lot more whiteheads when I was on holiday. So I put this down to heat, sweat, grease, and wearing the mask, which of course creates this warm, humid environment where I know that I'm gonna get some clogged pores, like for sure. For me, I've really expressed that when I'm sweaty, grimy, greasy, hot, whiteheads come for me. They just come and so they are the only kind of whiteheads that I've actually been having. It would have literally been last week, so now they're pretty much gone. I'll show you some close-ups of my face in a moment. So with the next steps of Dermatica, I feel like they're probably going to put me on a different prescription, maybe after my 3rd tube. I will have probably like a 6-month update, but do let me know if you want to see a more regular one. However, I do have more like skincare updates on my actual Instagram, so I'll link my Instagram down below and also my like handle, is that what it's called? And that way you can keep up with my skin progress. But for now, let me zoom in, show you what's been happening. So you can see there that my skin has definitely improved. I would say the hyperpigmentation has reduced, the redness has reduced, irritation is obviously a whole lot less. I feel a lot more confident in my skin. I'd happily just go out without makeup. I don't feel self-conscious. I don't feel, you know, I just feel like this is my skin and it is genuinely healing and getting better. And I'm just kind of hoping that it continues to do this because obviously I've explained this so many times, my skin has a habit of doing so well and then, you know, doing a complete, it does so well and then just goes, no, just kidding. And it's hard, it's really hard, but I feel so positive. Like I feel like I understand so much more about skincare. We've got such a strong community here and on social media in general that I just feel so confident as I am now. I don't I don't care, but I just hope that it gets better. Thank you for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And as mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you want to get involved on what kind of content I should create, then leave me comments, engage in my community posts, follow me on Instagram so that I can actually create content that you personally want to see. Bye guys.